Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, if you're sitting in the C-suite right now, or maybe you're advising those who do, you know the noise around AI and human capital is it's deafening. Today, we're executing a strategic teardown of AI labor market realities. We're going to completely strip away the emotional media hype, those headlines practically begging for clicks, and instead we're focusing entirely on hard operational truths. Because as corporate strategy consultants, our job is to look right past the panic and understand the actual mechanics of what's happening in the global workforce.
Okay, let's dive into this. Is AI a job destroyer, or is it just the next spreadsheet? This is the fundamental, absolutely crucial, strategic question that literally every enterprise leader is facing right now. Are we looking at a tech that's going to completely hollow out our organizations, or is this simply the next major evolution in enterprise productivity software? The answer to that changes everything. It changes how you allocate capital, who you hire, and how you train your people over the next 3 to 5 years.
To get to the bottom of this, we're going to logically progress through 5 key stages in our briefing today. Number 1, the AI job apocalypse. Number 2, following the AI money. 3, displacement versus productivity. 4, the global retraining experiment. And finally, number 5, navigating the strategic transition.
Starting with Section 1, the AI job apocalypse and the Silicon Valley narrative. First up, let's examine this deeply terrifying story about the future of work that tech hubs have been aggressively pushing for the last couple of years. Just look at these grim predictions from prominent tech leaders. You've got Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei warning that half of all entry-level white-collar jobs could just disappear. You have Mustafa Suleyman claiming this massive disruption could hit within just 18 months. Seriously, almost every week, another CEO takes a stage somewhere to talk about replacing human workers with autonomous AI agents. And naturally, the media has run with it, right? It's created this widespread panic about an impending white-collar wipeout. It sounds inevitable. It sounds totally apocalyptic. But then we hear this: don't listen to CEOs. This comes directly from Yann LeCun, Meta's chief AI scientist. He recently just completely dismissed these sweeping unemployment predictions, noting that the fear is wildly overblown. He even pointed out that it's unnecessarily impacting young people and making college students depressed. This is a huge pivot point for us. It reveals a deep, deep skepticism brewing right inside the core of the AI community itself. Which brings us to Section 2, following the AI money and the financial incentives. To understand the pushback from pioneers like Andrew Ng, we really have to look at the hidden economic logic of frontier AI labs. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the basic enterprise math it reveals. Andrew Ng argues that frontier AI labs actually benefit financially when AI sounds powerfully enough to replace human beings. Think about the enterprise sales pitch for a second. If you genuinely believe an AI system can completely replace a human employee who cost you, say, $100,000 a year, well then suddenly paying $10,000 for an enterprise AI software license looks like a phenomenally cheap strategic bargain.
The core argument Ng and LeCun are making is that we need to stop treating AI CEOs like labor economists. These leaders have a massive, massive vested interest in making AI sound like a world-changing labor-replacing mechanism. Why? Well, because they have to justify their staggering market valuations and the literal billions of dollars in infrastructure spending required to build these models. Pushing an apocalypse narrative makes their product seem immensely and urgently necessary.
Moving to Section 3, displacement versus productivity and the ideological split. This brings us to a massive fracture occurring right now at the very top of the AI industry regarding the future of human capital.
The industry is fracturing into two distinctly different camps. On one side, championed by figures like Amodei and Sam Altman, you have the view of AI as an autonomous job destroyer that's going to wipe out vast swaths of white-collar work. On the other side, the camp led by folks like Andrew Ng and Yann LeCun, who view AI as an evolutionary productivity tool. They argue this is a foundational shift, exactly like the introduction of the spreadsheet, cloud computing, or the internet itself. Far from an apocalypse, Ng actually believes we're heading for a massive wave of new engineering and productivity roles.
However, as objective analysts, we've got to apply the same scrutiny to the other side of the debate. Listen, Andrew Ng's thesis is super compelling, but he's not exactly a neutral observer here. His company, deeplearning.ai, trains millions of learners globally. His other company, Landing AI, helps enterprises adopt these exact systems.
His entire business ecosystem basically thrives when organizations believe they need to ride an upskilling wave. So while Eng openly acknowledges that AI is stressful and disruptive, his financial incentives align perfectly with the narrative of widespread retraining and adaptation.
All right, Section 4, the global retraining experiment and turning automation into an advantage. Let's move to and see how this builds into real-world operational reality. Because while Silicon Valley is busy debating theory, the rest of the world is actually executing. Take a look at this number, 1.5 million. That is the number of engineering graduates that India produces every single year. The United States simply does not possess that kind of scale. And if Andrew Ng is right that AI creates more engineering work instead of less, then regions with massive talent pools like India stand to benefit enormously from this transition.
And this brilliantly illustrates how large-scale enterprise is actually reacting. The real AI labor experiment, it isn't happening in Silicon Valley. It's happening in global IT hubs. Giants like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and HCL Tech, they haven't been panicking. Instead, they've been meticulously preparing for this shift since 2023. They have already retrained hundreds of thousands of employees into AI-related roles. They aren't waiting around to be disrupted. They're actively turning automation into a massive competitive advantage to offer their global clients.
Finally, Section 5, navigating the strategic transition and the real labor market forecast. As we map out this strategic horizon, we do have to acknowledge an uncomfortable truth. The doom predictors out of Silicon Valley aren't entirely wrong. The transition is going to be highly disruptive.
So the crucial point is understanding exactly where the disruption is hitting right now. Entry-level white-collar tasks are, in fact, being automated faster than ever before. Junior coding jobs, fundamentally changing. Customer support, radically transforming. Paralegal work is going through massive shifts. The friction at the entry level of the corporate ladder is very real, and it is happening immediately.
Which brings us to the actual debate at the heart of this explainer. It's a concept we call transition timing. The disagreement isn't really about if jobs will change. It's about the timeline. Will AI destroy more jobs than it creates in the short term? Or will entirely new categories of work emerge quickly enough to absorb the workforce? Historically, technology always creates more jobs over time. But, history also shows us that the people caught in the middle of that transition rarely experience it as progress.
Ultimately, the confusion brewing from these conflicting viewpoints is becoming the defining economic story of the AI era. Governments, universities, and enterprises are all trying to make massive life and capital decisions in the middle of deep uncertainty. The long-term outcomes of AI will likely be a net positive for productivity. But the critical question to leave you with today isn't about the long term. It's this. Technology creates jobs over time, but will your organization adapt fast enough to survive the transition? The strategic victor won't be the one who perfectly predicts the exact future. It will be the one who adopts the fastest. Are you moving quickly enough?